heard John Mitting's ruling on the closing statements and whether they'll be held in person or not. He hasn't closed the door on there being oral statements. However, he has said that the non-state court participants have to give the closing statements in the original time frame, which was in this March, but he's giving the police a extension until probably the 16th of May, though that hasn't been confirmed yet. He claims he will keep embargoed the non-state court participants' closing statements, but there's a very, very, very small possibility that there will be oral statements once he's received the written statements. But he doesn't want to do anything that would delay the preparations for Tranche 3. So I think that's probably the worst of both worlds, really, we've ended up with there. What did you make of it, Eveline?
Well, he's clearly trying to find a balance between the two requests, and he finds it very important that the commissioner makes a statement again, but he's also very afraid that there will be further delays to the start of Tranche 3, currently set at the 13th of October. He said that like 3 times. Okay, closing statements, let them be short. I allow you enough time, but please focus on the preparation of Tranche 3. I don't want, in the early autumn to get a request for further delay. We can't do that.
Yeah, really frustrating, and I think he's chosen the worst possible choice. I just wanted to go back to something that was said just before the end. There's not much left to be said, really, but that Malcolm MacLeod was asked about the Trevor Monville campaign. He was shown the report we've seen a number of times about the SWP's involvement in that campaign and the limited influence they had upon it. He had to have it explained to him numerous times. This is a legitimate campaign, that the parents of Trevor Monville, who was, it's a horrific story of his treatment by the police. I recommend you check it out. I don't want to go over it again. Malcolm MacLeod had to have it repeated to him 3 times that they were looking to have an inquiry into what happened to Trevor Monville, not anything else. He repeatedly said he didn't know about it, and then he had to say, you said that the SWP were involved. If the Socialist Workers' Party involved the Trotskyites, then it was perfectly legitimate to monitor this group. Before admitting that if the SWP hadn't been involved, then it wouldn't have been. I thought it was really offensive, and I think it just showed the measure of the man. And he really compounded that then when he was asked about Hunt saboteurs. He said they were a nasty bunch of people. They caused injury and harm to members of the public. It was put to him that they were on the receiving end of violence from hunters. He said he's not surprised by that. I think he really sort of finished on a note that if there was ever any kind of concern that he is an objectionable individual in every possible way.
Well, what I found really, really bad, sort of shocking, was that he appeared not to know who Trevor Monville was or what had happened to him. And he said, they should have been monitored when they were an extreme left group. And then he went to the SWP, but he clearly did not know that this is like a family justice campaign of honourable parents that seek justice for their son. And I find it like he was involved in the politics of those days, and he has no clue of who Trevor Monville and his parents' campaign is. That was like really shocking.
Yeah, the idea that he wouldn't have been briefed about it at some point is not credible. He obviously was at some point, but these people didn't matter to him, so he didn't remember it.
Yeah, that was what was clear. And otherwise, what to say? I can only repeat what I said before, like, what was this guy's job? What did he do? He did not know what was going on. He did not think it was a good idea to...
Or so he says.
To ask Lambert if he was crossing lines with his relationships, with his criminal activities, He I don't know. I think he was a placeholder for some time to make sure that, the lid wouldn't come off.
I think it's probably not the best idea for us to make any sort of judgments on him based on what he said at the inquiry over the last 2 days, because I think he's been completely disingenuous the entire time he's been giving evidence.
Yeah, might be true as well. It's like very difficult to to say whether he seemed to be lying all the time, but what can you say? Maybe the management of the SDS was a mess, and maybe it was a cabal in itself. I don't know. It's like we don't get any further really with this.
We don't. We didn't learn a great deal about the SDS, I don't think, from Malcolm MacLeod. Tomorrow we'll be having HN1, the undercover officer who used the cover name Matt Rayner, almost certainly real name Matt. He won't be. We won't be able to see him. It'll just be the audio we'll hear. I'm not sure. Was the audio broadcast last time?
The audio was broadcast, but also modulated. No, was it?
Good question. I don't think so, but can't remember. Anyway, it will. Probably that means there will be a broadcast tomorrow.
No, there won't be a broadcast tomorrow. Even for us, there will be a short session on the webinar. I'm not sure about the broadcast, but then it will go into close. And they're in closed session that we won't be able to hear. So they kind of told us not to come here because it will be 45 minutes. And then it will depend on how the question goes, or the answering rather, how long that will take. And then at the end of the day, it will be open for a bit again. And then on Thursday, it will be open again.
Yeah, it's quite frustrating. I'll be here no matter what the whole time, and we'll let you know what happens as it does. I'll do a Twitter Spaces. I'm going to try and do it fairly early this evening because I'd really like to get it all out of the way. Anything else you want to add?
No, thanks.
Thanks for joining us. See you all tomorrow.